In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beautiful face.
Welcome.
Don't I need to be closer? Is this a good?
That's
Y'all
good.
are way closer to your mic.
Well, the closer the better.
Okay. Yeah. Joe pushed it away.
I was trying to push that shit away.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the GeniusBrainPodcast. I'm your host, David So.
And I am your other host on Thursdays, Joe Jitsukawa. And today we have my beautiful ass girlfriend here, Jessica Caldwell.
Oh, thank you.
Jessica Caldwell.
Caldwell.
Well, the fucking hottest bitch in all of fucking Texas and shit. I don't know.
She's the hottest bitch in East Texas.
East Texas.
South Texas.
South Texas.
Thank you. South Texas.
One of the newer additions to the JK family.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you've never had a... Yeah, we never podcast. Okay, she came on mine. I'm getting my Jamalian radio mixed up with yours.
I've never had her on. I have 1,000 million questions for you. Specifically, a lot of the one thing that I wanted to talk about today. I actually didn't expect for you to be on the podcast, but then I was like, oh, I have questions.
Yeah, it was last minute.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know. So number one, when people develop friendships, people always think that things just happen to click all the time, like really fast, right? But I think that one of the things that people didn't realize was how hard it was for you to uproot your life and come to LA. Mm-hmm. You know, people just think that it's just plug and play. And a lot of the times it's not. I think specifically for you that number one, I thought was really brave of you, because I don't know if I would have been able to do it, was you literally, I feel like you just said, this is my old life, delete, move on. And you came to LA.
She's committed. She's crazy. She's like, fuck this shit.
Which blew my mind.
New life.
Yeah, it was definitely really easy to make the decision, but once the decision was made and I was in the middle of it, it got really hard and like really emotionally.
It kind of hit you when you got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at first
shit.
you were tantalized by this Japanese sausage.
Sausage?
Sausage?
I think for both of us too.
You were tantalized by this Texas fucking bratwurst.
Yeah. No. Texas peach.
The Texas brisket flaps.
Texas peach, yeah.
There's nothing. Ew.
The brisket flaps.
There's nothing good to say for Texas, is there?
The pastrami pussy Texas. The
Texas
toast.
steak.
The Texas toast.
Texas toast. You're a big Texas toast.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Shout out to Whataburger.
Yeah, I think for both of us, it was almost like a shocker because we both were just like, fuck it, let's do it, right? But most people talk things through and set up expectations and plans.
We kind of did.
What was it?
I mean, God, it's been like 5 years now. I don't remember.
All I remember was, okay, so this is the plan. We made more plans for the road trip than we did for our future.
Yeah, I think most of the plans for our future, Joe was like, so you're going to come live with me and then we're going to have sex all the time.
Yep. A fucking 12-year-old plan, dude. Let me tell you something. You're going to get this dick on a daily dose, bitch.
Yeah. And then we'll like shoot videos and then we'll go on vacations. Fucking.
Yeah, vacations and fucking. That's our life.
And it did not turn out like that at all.
No. That's crazy.
Because we didn't plan like adults. Like you're supposed to talk shit out. You're supposed to do like, you know, like oh, what are we gonna do for work and all this stuff. We just kind of went in, and then there was a lot of shit that was like, whoa.
I think like in the beginning, everybody's like that though. That's the passionate stage. Like all you see, it's the goggles. You know, all you could see is that pink film over your eyes, and everything is pink and beautiful.
Limerence.
It's kind of crazy. Like I can even remember that Mariel said the fucking funniest thing when we were first going out, specifically because I was her first serious relationship. But I remember we were laying in bed, and she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, by the way, we did not have sex. We were just laying in bed." And she looks at me and she goes, I don't know what we'll ever fight about. And I busted up laughing in her face, dude. I said, I started cracking up. And she goes, what's so funny? And I'm like,
because she doesn't know. It's like, you don't know.
I said, we're going to fight about the dumbest things. You have no idea. And then when we finally had our first fight, she goes, oh my God, we're fighting. I was like, yeah, and I told you, it's about nothing. It's about the dumbest fucking shit. Like, I probably spread my butt cheeks and farted a weird way, and you were just like, ugh, that's gross. And I was like, what do you mean it's gross? It's me. The fuck? Do you hate me? And then we just started fighting about shit. And I think that's the part that we don't ever prepare for. And I feel like you guys did it fast. I mean, it didn't seem like that because you guys were long distance at first, right?
For a year, yeah.
Because you didn't move in with Mariel until how many years? Because we both kind of met, you know, our partners at the same and on the same year.
Yeah.
You started dating Mariel around the same time I started dating Jess.
Yeah, almost around the exact same time.
Right?
Yeah.
But you guys dated for a while before you made the commitment to move in.
And y'all didn't have sex for a while too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got time to like work a lot of
It was
things
a slow
out.
burn.
Yeah.
Slow burn.
Dude,
Yeah.
we fucked like immediately and it was just crazy.
But
like,
we talked for a month, like
we used to
before
talk
we met.
every day for hours.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I guess like for me and Mariel, we had this kind of long distance relationship because she lived in Culver City and I lived in K-Town. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like an hour and a half drive every time I would go see her, you know? So, you know, for me, 3 hours out of my day wasn't something that I could afford. So we didn't see each other a lot. And I actually at first thought that our relationship was better because of that, which at first it was because of that slow burn. But at the same time, we actually fought more because of it because we had to always solve our problems through text. You know,
That's the worst.
it's the worst.
Yeah,
we
you
would-
should never fight over text.
Yeah, and then at a certain point too, when you fight over text, you'll say something in text and you'll argue the meaning of it, and because you do it so often, you almost think that the other person's lying. Sometimes it's like you're just doing that so you can get out of trouble, and that's what was happening to us. Because I would write something, and you know, I wouldn't put a smiley face, I wouldn't put an
Yeah.
exclamation mark, and it would be interpreted as, oh, why are you mad at me? And then really I'm just taking a shit and I'm just writing it because I'm trying to wipe my ass or something, you know? And we, you know, it was something very simple and basic, but I started to realize that I needed that face-to-face interaction thing. Because
Oh yeah, that's important, man.
when we started spending more time together, like with each other, it would be the same conversation, not in text, but with each other, but the meaning was so different. It would be some shit like, hey, are you hungry? It's like, not really. Cool. But if I wrote that in text, not really, period.
It's like, God, what the fuck, dude? All right, well, fuck you then.
Exactly. And it was
Yeah.
happening a lot.
That's interesting because you know what? I feel like we got along better on text than we did in person.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So that's why it turned into like an atomic bomb when we moved in together.
I think we're both really this is my conclusion from all the years. I think that we're both actually very sensitive toward our partners, like their tone of voice, what they say, whatever.
Bitch face, like the look on
Yeah,
our
yeah, the
face.
physical, like how they carry themselves, all that stuff. Like, so if I'm like irritated, it'll affect her, and
Yeah.
vice versa, right? So we never had that over text. It's just like she gives me her message, but it doesn't have the sad face, or it doesn't have the bad body posture, or it doesn't have the bad body communication that I might misinterpret, right? It's just she just gives me the message and I just read her pure feelings through the message. Oh. So I didn't ever fight with her because we connected a lot in that way. Like whatever I thought, she just got it. But then in person, it's like, this is what she really meant, but it didn't come out like that in the physical. And that would happen a lot where I misinterpret what she was saying because I'm not reading her right. So millennial, right? Like we're fucking talking over text better than we are over in person.
That's fucking crazy. Like I wouldn't have thought about that.
And every time we see each other, like we're basically playing. We're adventuring. We're eating different foods. We're going hiking, doing something fun. So like there wasn't much
When
room
we were
to
long
fight.
distance. Yeah. Like those few weekends, those few hours
Yeah.
that we kind of had together, they were like exciting because we'd waited weeks to see each other. So
Yeah.
all of our moods and everything were great. We were
Yeah,
just
so
playing.
we always presented each other with the best
But
vibes.
then, yeah, moving
Yeah.
in, it's like there's no longer this like, oh, I'm cute texting or whatever, and then you actually get to see me wake up in the morning and go like, no, I'm not hungry yet or whatever, you know, and just have that bad energy. So we just immediately stopped getting along.
Yeah. Also, like, we stopped texting and just talking throughout the day. So we didn't have time to miss each other. So we were living with each other, and it's like, I see you, and then, you know, like, as soon as you move in with Mario, like, you know that there's no escaping the fight. If something goes wrong, you gotta either face it or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So I suck with conflict resolution. So, like, if shit went down, like, it just went down and lingered.
Yeah.
And I was living with it, and I didn't know what to do with it.
That's the crazy part when your partner is always around and home base is her home base. Like there was this part where Mariel and I got into, I just told the story earlier, where Mariel and I got into this huge argument, and we'd probably been into maybe one fight since we moved in together. And then I literally packed my shit like a 5-year-old. You know, I might as well just put my toys and my diapers in there and shit. And I grabbed my shit and I looked at her, and she looks at me, And she goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm home. And she goes, what do you mean? She goes, I can't run away. I'm home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here. You're here. I got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I started freaking out. I was like, oh shit. Like, what am I packing my bags for? I'm going to walk out the door and come back in. Like, I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Sleep in my Honda Element? No.
You know what I do?
What?
We got into a really bad fight one time. I packed up some shit. I put my dog's leashes on, and then we went and stayed at a hotel. Because I had to run the fuck away.
Wow.
Yeah.
I packed up and I went to a wee spa or went to the office and slept in my tatami room.
Dude, there are times where like I just literally, I think it's because I can't go to sleep knowing that something's wrong. So with I think that's the one blessing that I have because I saw my parents always do this. So mind you, my parents would have fucking catastrophic fights. Catastrophic. Like I talked about this earlier too, where I remember my mom throwing a loaded rice cooker at my dad's head, like straight up chucked it. And I know the exact tile piece that cracked off and it's still glued there till this day. And my mom that acts like I wouldn't know. She goes, how do you remember that? You're like
they fought so much.
Yeah. She goes,
that's how much fighting they did. They forgot something like that.
Yeah. And I told her, I was like, dude, you threw a rice cooker at his head. Who the fuck would forget that? But what I always noticed was that at the end of the day, at night, they would always make up.
And then they fight again tomorrow.
But, at least they always resolved their problems before they would go to sleep. They never went to sleep angry. And if they did, it would be over some crazy shit.
See, that's why it's so important to see parents resolve conflict, right? Because I don't know how to fucking do it. She doesn't, we're both from broken homes, right? So, like, I don't even know to recognize that there was a problem, even if there was. Or even if we know that there is, it's like, what do we do with it? And then you try different things to fix it, and it's like maybe your method is even wrong too.
Yeah, when we were kids too, like I didn't realize how much. Like there's something I realized too later on, because when I was losing weight, when my dad used to like beat my ass or I would get in trouble, the next day he would always like try to fix it with food. Like he would always, here, I made
food
you
is
this.
healing.
Yeah, so he would heal.
Yeah.
So then I started thinking to myself, maybe that's why like, when I'm stressed out or some shit, I want to eat something. Because after I got my ass beat, the treat was, here's some bulgogi, here's some bulgogi and rice.
Let's punch him and feed him.
Because I think my dad, when he would, I think about it now, I think after he would kick my fucking ass, he would feel so terrible.
Yeah.
So he's just like, oh God, I got to make this guy a sandwich. So he would make me like a sandwich or something. And
instead of just emotionally fixing it with you, he's fixing it through food.
Yeah, we had this huge talk. This is actually the last fight I got in with my dad, and it was like 3 years ago. And I got to a point where he said something that really pissed me off. And, mind you, we don't fight that much anymore. But he was like, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be where you're at. And
oh my God.
And it triggered something. And I looked at him. I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I supported you since day one. And I looked at him.
That's a lie.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you didn't. I was like, you absolutely did not. And then we kind of got into this huge argument. And then he goes, well, so what do you have against me? And I was like, imagine if you would have just supported me the way you were, like how you're saying you did now, and how much further I would be in my career. And for my dad, that kind of hurt his feelings a lot, because in his mind, he thought he was doing the best. And so like when we had this huge like breaking moment in this, or with our last huge fight, I had a moment to understand my father a little bit, because that's the first time he actually started crying in front of me.
Wow.
Because I've seen him cry over my brother, but he's never cried over me.
That male menopause is happening.
I know. Because when I told him, I was like, you should say you fucked up, because you fucked up. Like you did. I was like, mom supported me. I was like, when you were yelling at me and screaming at me, mom told me, hey, just graduate college and I'll support you no matter what you do, but just get this degree for your dad so he gets off your back. I was like, but I don't even think you knew about that conversation. I was surviving just because mom she would push me like, hey, you can do this, you can do this. But while you were telling me I was stupid every day, I had somebody else supporting me. For him, he was, in his mind, what I found out was, I was a fuck up. I had to realize that too. I had such anger issues, and albeit I got it from him too, but he doesn't know why I'm punching shit while I'm breaking stuff in the fucking house.
He just sees it as you're troublesome because you don't listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for him, he just thought, my younger son is not like my older son, who's getting really good grades, doesn't even curse, doesn't do any of this stuff. So what I need to do is make sure that he has a future. So he would always have me work at the store 24/7. And the reason why is because he was scared that I was going to end up homeless.
So he wanted you to learn the business so then you have something.
That was my fail-safe.
Damn.
But he didn't tell me that. But
he's trying to Mr. Miyagi you, dude. Fucking wax on, wax off, and you're like, what? Why am I doing your slave work and shit? Like
Because my brother would go on field trips. He would do everything else. But every Saturday, I was at the store working. But now it turned out, it works out because now I understand how business works.
Right. You know how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So he fucking Mr. Miyagi'd my ass. He
Yeah.
did do something right, you know? And it's kind of crazy, like looking at these things that having those type of parental influences. Because I know for you two, your dad bounced.
Yeah.
And then your mom bounced as well. So it's like, when I saw your guys' relationship, sometimes I thought like, well, it's very hard how when both of you have like this broken idea of family, try to come together and you guys are trying to create your own. And that's so fucking difficult. And I didn't think about that until we got older. And now I look at Mariel and I was like, this is something my dad used to say to me.
Yeah.
He goes, when you get with the girl, try to see what her family's like. And I'm like, you fucking terrible human being.
My mom said the same thing.
Yeah. And
She's
I
like, you're not marrying her, you're marrying her family.
Yeah.
And her family's fucking awesome. They're great people. My family's awesome. We're the shitbags.
It's like, we're the poison in the family.
No.
It's just the other half.
It's just me and you are oil and vinegar. That's what it is. Because you're not a bad person. I'm not a bad
we're not
person.
bad. We're
We
not
just
bad.
don't mix
Yeah.
that well.
I think you
So
guys
we're
are
learning
oil
how to
and
mix.
oil is what I think you guys are.
We're two the same.
You guys are oil
That's true.
and oil, and your personality is a fucking match. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Because it's easy to point out the differences like, oh, you're organized and I'm chaotic and this and that.
Those are
but
small
the
things.
core values and what we find, you know, what we agree upon, like morals and honor and a lot of things, we're just like that. And when we first met, like those are the things we connected on, the important things. And it's like, it was a breath of fresh air. Like, I can't believe I finally found someone that believes the same things, that isn't a fucking idiot. I could have a strong conversation with, like, we could go from philosophical all the way down to sexual, like whatever. Like, we could talk about everything. And those are the things you take for granted because it's there and it's so easy. But the things that stand out the most are the differences.
Yeah.
But they're not really differences, right? Like,
Because the differences that you guys have are normal couple differences. You're messy, you're sloppy, that stuff. But I think from how I see, number one, just how I've seen you guys argue, you guys are the exact same fucking person. And that's where you guys clash a lot.
Yeah. But
Like-
we don't clash over things like that, though. Like
Yeah.
you're messy or whatever.
Exactly.
Like
We never
we,
do.
we
Those
don't
are-
fight over like the toilet seat down or whatever. Like
Exactly.
it's never that. It's really just communication. Like I don't like the way you spoke to me. So there's something weird in both of us where like we just don't speak to each other in a good way.
Yeah.
But there's never anything wrong being said. It's just
Yeah.
like the emotions.
yeah, we both are kind of mean speakers.
But you're not like that to anyone else, I feel like. And I don't know.
Well, it's because you're very close to his heart. So all the small things that you say, and I've learned this with Mariel too, like this is me to her. It's he could be cold as much as he wants to the rest of the world, but he'll never be that way to you, which is a good thing actually. It's just, you know, how big is this fire and how much it burns you, right? So the thing is like if I was some random fuck and I told Joe about his dirty habits, who the fuck cares? Joe's like, he's an idiot. He'll move on from it. But you're somebody that's like this with him. So when you say something small, it's going to spark something bigger than anybody else will. The people that are closest to you are the ones that could hurt you the most.
Yeah, for sure.
And so for you, like, I know like sometimes when you guys fight, it feels like, man, like, I don't know if this guy's in my corner, but the reason why things happen like this because he's so in your corner, everything you say hurts him because nobody else can do that to him. Who else? Literally, we're on JK News. People say we say the craziest shit. He's just like whoop right over your head.
As soon as I come on JK News and I like make jokes, he's just like
I get all flustered and shit.
He goes home real pissed. I'm like,
Come on.
sorry.
I even got angry at her because she made fun of the way I squeeze lemons.
What was this?
I love that you tell this story all the time. And then this is the thing that we do. You tell the same stories all the time. And then I get upset. And then
But he
see,
didn't-
this is
I
it
never
right
heard
here.
about the
But he
lemon
never
story.
heard it.
This is it right
never
here.
heard of it.
This is it right here.
He never heard of it.
I never heard the lemon story.
It was like 4 years ago.
But that's just how funny,
Yeah.
like,
That's
when
how
I look back, it's just funny.
Yeah.
I got another lemon story.
Okay,
though.
so check this out. Long story short, right? I'm fucking squeezing lemons, and she's trying to be funny, and she's just like, "That's how you don't get fucking any juice out of that shit." And I was like, "Let me just squeeze the fucking lemon the way I want to squeeze the fucking lemon. That's how much of lemon I want."
Yeah, because it was like this big ass taco. It was a big ass taco,
It was
right?
stupid though. It was like 2 drops.
It's a big ass taco, and he went doop like one. So I was like, I just watched him pick up this fucking lemon wedge, put it over the taco, slowly go doop and then set it down, and I was just sitting there like, why the fuck did you even do that? Like, you're not gonna taste it.
That's how much lemon I want, bitch. You don't know. I got a sensitive tongue. It's acidic.
Yeah, I was just like, that's how you squeeze lemons? You didn't even put any lemon
I had hot coffee. I burned my tongue. The acid hurts.
So yeah, and then we just got into this huge fight. He just like slammed the table, and then he's just like, God damn it, you always fucking nitpicking me for everything. And I was just like, I just thought it was funny that you squeezed one little doop on your big ass fucking taco.
It's like when when they have, as they say, the little person jumps into the pool, just boop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so fucking funny, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know how close you are to somebody until you figure out how much they can piss you off.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, I guess
I get super annoyed with this dude. Like, I'm like, how do we get past being annoyed?
That's hard because I know I annoy the fuck out of Mario, though. Like,
But the funny thing is, you give it some time and you think about that situation. It's pretty fucking
Yeah,
funny.
that situation is ridiculous. And also the taco, what was it? The KFC one? The fried chicken one?
what?
Do you remember the fried chicken day where we went to like 3 different places trying to get fried chicken, and he wound up leaving me
I left her at a KFC.
in Compton?
No, it wasn't Compton.
It was.
I know where Compton is.
It was it was Compton Boulevard or whatever the fuck.
No, there's no Compton Boulevard.
No, it was. What was it? Because
It's down the street from Gus's Fried Chicken. You know Gus's Fried Chicken in K-Town?
That's like Wilshire.
Yeah.
It's basically, it's hood there, though.
Yeah.
What's the name of that street though? It's a famous street.
I know what you're talking. I know where that is. That's just, that area's ghetto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you're gonna fucking leave me here? You don't care?
She left me. I drove off.
She fucking left me.
She left the car. She almost fucking
Because you were going
rolled.
psycho, dude.
And then I drove away.
Damn, you guys have fights like my parents did. That's how my parents would fight.
You know why? But I know her so much. I knew immediately she was just gonna call Uber, so I just made sure that she had her phone, and I'm like, yeah, she has her phone. And then I know she was gonna call Uber.
amidst that chaos, he's still making sure that you're okay. He goes,
See?
fuck you, bitch. She have her phone. Cool. It just goes.
That's how I know I still love her, dude. Like, I'll be in Japan.
I
and
saw
she's-
you drive away, and I was like, this motherfucker don't love me.
That's how I wanted you to feel.
Shit, dude.
But when we were in Japan, this is how I know I fucking love her, right? Because like we're in Japan, and then I'm like, this fucking bitch is irritating me right now, right? And then I look over, and I'm like, thank God my mom's talking to her right now. I hope my mom talks about good things with her and they bond. But fuck this fucking bitch.
You guys have like such an interesting dynamic, man. Like, you know, when I see like your guys' problem, like I don't think I've ever seen like something where I'm just like, man, you guys fight a lot, but there's always like effort. You know what I mean? Like I always look into something like effort. When I see somebody stop trying, it's when I get worried. You know, when I see that willingness to try to make something work, it just disappears, and you're just going it just to go through the motions. That's when I'm just like, this might be something that's a bit of an issue. Just because I've seen now, like I can't even count on my hands how many people I know that got divorced. You know,
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I've seen anyways, and this is an anecdotal thing, is there's always somebody that just stopped trying.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe that's why we haven't gotten engaged or married yet, because we're afraid that we might get divorced. We're kind of like, is this going to last? So we're kind of just putting it off.
I mean, that's a good thing to think about, though. I mean, even hearing that is actually kind of healthy, because most people will just bury that shit.
Yeah. And
Pretend.
maybe the ring will make it happier or whatever. Like, I think we're very honorable in a way where we do not commit and give our word unless it means something. And we can be 100% confident that that's what I really truly feel.
Yeah.
So some people might feel pressured because everyone else around them is doing it. Imagine if a friend got engaged or something like that, right? That would make us feel pressured, and maybe that social pressure would make us just do it because we feel like we're falling behind. But I don't fucking play by those rules.
Yeah.
I just genuinely want to be with someone that I know that I'm not going to make the same mistakes my parents do and get a divorce and all that stuff. Because I think we hold our words very highly, because she's very committed. Like, she doesn't even commit to brainstorming ideas unless she knows she can do that shit. You know what I mean? But that's because it's like, I don't want to go forth and give a promise that I can't fulfill.
Yeah.
So of course you got to give some type of slack when you're thinking about that kind of stuff, because it's nothing's going to be perfect, right? But I think that's where we connect, because I have this feeling that she wants to feel right about it. I want to feel right about it. And it's not that it's wrong. I want to be sure that we can be a couple that can figure it out and be at peace.
Yeah.
Because I think for a long time we're still thinking of like saying I do as like I say I do to having to hear his fucking stories over and over and over again. He's like, I'm gonna have to say I do to hear you bitch and complain about everything, even the food we're eating today. And then so we're not seeing it as I say I do to loving you. We're seeing it as I say I do to like all of this shit that's like pisses me off.
It really is.
And until we feel comfortable with that and can fully accept it, I don't think we can get married, right? So
yeah, there's no balance.
Yeah.
So we need the balance to accept the faults of each other. Yeah. So I think, man, it's awesome, because I was telling her, like, it sucks that we're fighting. It sucks that we get into these negative ruts, right? But the awesome thing about it is, if I had to do this with anyone, I'm glad it was with you. Yeah. Because you're the only person that's strong enough to deal with my craziness. Yeah. You're the only person that's patient enough to deal with, you know, all of the insanity that I have. And if I didn't have you to be my mirror to help me grow out of all the issues that I have, like, I'm not sure anybody else would. Mm-hmm. You know, it's hard to find that person.
You're going to have to... We're gonna have, I think we had that recorded, because you might have to put that in vows later. That's some good shit.
Yeah, that's it's hard. Yeah,
I mean, it's like I said. I mean, you guys seem to have like all the pieces. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a matter of, is it strong enough to where you guys can pull that trigger?
I think for me, it's like we have the pieces, we don't have the self-control. Yeah. So our impulses and autopilot is really fucking bad. Yeah. So the habits are really bad. So ultimately, we both want the same thing, which is the love and the happiness and the butterflies and all that good shit, right? And just getting along and being at peace and whatever. But that stillness doesn't exist, because I think we just have baggage from past and all kinds of stuff, whatever it is. And then the habits, we're just having a hard time breaking those habits.
Yeah. And, you know, like I mentioned before, you guys grew up in just very harsh households. So, you know, that foundation is so important. And I you know, we just never knew how important it was until you guys have this now. Yeah. You know, so that, like I said, conflict resolution, didn't get to see that a lot. You know what I mean? I mean, you talked about your personal life on your channel, which you guys could go watch on her channel. She just goes into her whole life, especially with her mother. Like it was pretty insane growing up for you. You know, so now it's just a matter of like, you know, are you guys going to be the first ones to break that cycle? Yeah. And it's just, I feel like sometimes things are just so extreme. Like we make things extreme when it doesn't have to be. Yeah. Right. So how we deal with things that normally should just make you irritated goes to anger. Yeah. You know, and that's the scary part that I see a lot. It's like, okay, this person did that, and they go, what the fuck? It's like, whoa, that is not the reaction.
Not necessary. Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing that Mariel says to me sometimes. I had to say to her, I go, your reaction was not appropriate for what just happened here. You know? So me leaving a dookie stain in the toilet isn't enough for you to come out and say the whole world is going to burn.
Yeah. Do you get in trouble for leaving dookie stains?
Dookie stains in the toilet. And that's where poop goes. You know?
Yeah. Like, why would you?
Yeah, dude, one time, like, I literally, I have it recorded in my phone because of how ridiculous she was being. And I was laughing at her the whole time. Because she goes, are you serious? I'm like, what happened? She goes, there's a poop stain in my toilet. And I was like, was it yours? She goes, it's not mine. It's yours. I'm so sick of this. I was like, hold on a second. I need you to backtrack. You're here. You should be here.
Poop stains?
Yeah. I was like, I understand that the poop stain made you mad, but you're yelling?
Yeah.
And it's in the toilet, right?
Yeah,
it's not a poop streak.
In the toilet.
It's not on the sheet.
Like, so the next time you flush, it'll go down.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it's not on the couch. Yeah. It's
you know, and then, you know, obviously she starts laughing after a while because she realizes how ridiculous it is, right? And then she's just like pouting throughout the whole thing. And I was like, your response for the poop is too high.
Yeah.
She's probably stressed out by some other shit.
There's always something else, you know? So we do this thing where we go, response is not right. Like, be angry, but be angry here. You know, don't be angry here. Be angry here. Because if you're angry here, then I have to match that level, that energy. Because I don't want to match that energy over a poop stain.
Yeah.
Like now I'm just going to look back and be like, that was the dumbest fucking argument I've ever had in my life. So now I just have to be like, okay, dude, David, don't get mad. She's just being stupid, you know? Because then she does that for me too. Like, let me tell you this thing. It's my fault. I have a thing where if, for example, I'm a relatively clean guy. But when I had to move out of the office and move stuff in here, I had to figure out how to make this tiny space work. But because it wouldn't work in my head right, I started freaking the fuck out. Like I was walking around the house, and this is gonna be a lot of F-bombs, by the way. I was just walking around, what the fuck? Fuck this shit. Fucking piece of fucking shit. I'm gonna fucking break this shit. I'm gonna fucking break this desk so I can fucking fit in this fucking stupid ass fucking place. And she goes, that's a lot of F-bombs. You know? She goes, shh, calm down, calm down. She starts petting me like a pet. I'm like, don't fucking touch me right now. I don't be fucking petted. Fucking the fuck. You know, I'm just like dropping F-bombs all over the place. And then finally she goes, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We'll get a tape measure. And if it fits, it'll fit. Watch, it's going to fit. I was like, it's not a fucking fit. What's it fucking fit in there fucking here? Right? And then lo and behold, it fit. And then I calmed down. She goes, well, don't you think you were acting really stupid? Yeah. And I'm like, I guess I kind of was. Because I was just dropping F-bombs for a solid like 30 minutes for no reason. And I didn't even get out a tape measure and just measure it out. Yeah. And it would have gave me mental peace. So, you know.
That shit's really cute. But like the problem we have, I think, is like everyone does that stuff, right? Yeah. But every single time one of us has an episode or we fight, we kind of hate each other a little bit more, and we never forgive each other for it. So like I would never forgive Joe if he did that, and like I would still be it's just like it takes down our image of the other person. And so we never forget every single time there's something that blew up.
Yeah. I think.
So how do you guys feel after that argument? You kind of laugh about it and it's over, right?
It is over,
and but she doesn't hate you for that after that?
Oh no, absolutely not. Because what happens is that after we had this episode and I act stupid, we also end with an understanding that there's a commitment that I'm gonna try not to do that again. That I'm gonna get a little bit better, even by centimeters or inches. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's one less fuck than the 30, right? So we make a commitment to try not to do this. So. Another example is like we talked about how when we get angry, growing up in a household with a lot of anger, punching shit, breaking shit. Yeah. She should be fine with this story. So we we had a fight here where I had this little cream thing that I was holding, right? And I can't remember what exactly it was, but what it boiled down to was in my household, they always hated lying. And arguably for me, because I don't like lying so much, maybe I'm like too honest. So, because I used to get my ass fucking beat if I lied. And, you know, I grew up in a Christian household. So the only time I would lie is if like I snuck out of the house. But if it was something I fucked up on, I just arguably just told the truth so I wouldn't get beat up more. Yeah. And so that's been ingrained in my head. And I think I get burned a lot for that because I tell everything about myself. Every little fucking thing I tell about myself because it's almost like a fear of, what do I have to hide? If I hide it, then it's going to be worse. So with her, she has this thing where she was saying that she was upset. She wasn't upset, but she was talking to me very disrespectfully. And I just kind of told her, I was like, well, when you're mad at me, like you could be mad, but when you say sorry, say it correctly. Don't say sorry like that. Because when you do that, it makes me feel like you're belittling me. You think I'm dumb. So when you apologize, say it wholeheartedly because I always do that for you. She goes, I am saying it wholeheartedly. And then she's lying to me. And I grew up in a household where lying wasn't acceptable. So it's boiling this anger inside me. I was like, hey, I told you, you could do whatever you want. Just don't lie to me, right? And she goes, I'm not lying to you. What else do you want me? You want me to like grovel, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, that anger's getting bigger and bigger.
I'd rather hear, I'm not ready to say sorry yet.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd rather hear that. Say, hey, give me some space. And then let's solve it later. But she was so emotionally charged at the time, which is understandable because we're fighting. Yeah. But to me, I just heard lie, lie, lie. And that's what I grew up with. I used to get beat for that shit. So I hate lying. That's why I'm even learning to white lie now. Right. So like she kept doing that and I got me so fucking angry and, you know, childhood shit. I had this small little fucking CBD cream and I chucked it and it shattered everywhere. And when it shattered, she went into the bathroom and she started crying. And at that moment, I stopped being angry. And the reason why I stopped being angry is because knowing the fact that I did something to scare her and make her cry made me feel terrible. And so since then we had a conversation. I asked her, I go, well, she came out and she wipes her tears away. And I looked at her almost like stupid. I was like, why are you crying? Right? And she goes, I'm crying because you scared me. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking hit you. What are you talking about? And she goes, it doesn't matter if you're not going to hit me. But she goes, when I was a kid, when my parents would get angry or something, in a Korean household, I would see my father get angry, but I wanted to be a strong girl. So I didn't show him that I was scared, but I can't do that with you. So for me, I just have to run away and cry because you scared me. I know you're not going to hit me, but you scared me. And
the energy, and then just that kind of
force, you know. And she goes, I see you doing that. If we have kids, I see you breaking stuff in front of our kids. I see you doing that, and then our kids pick it up just like you did. So what do we do here? And so for me now, I know that's a baseline thing for her. So now I know that whenever we fight, even if I get angry, I just have to walk away. But I will never shatter anything in front of her ever again. So she doesn't hold that against me.
I haven't broke anything in a while.
It's been a minute, I guess.
So those are the things that I have to figure out. And then she's not going to hold it against me because I broke this little cream. She's going to trust me to say, he's going to do his best not to do that again. And I have.
But then when you do it again, the trust goes away, right?
A bit, but
yeah.
Let's say I didn't do it. Well, let's say we fought, I don't know, we haven't fought since then, but let's say we fought 6 times since then, right? But within that 6 times, I broke something once. So I didn't do it every time, so I got better. So she has to look for those things of, okay, we're
not recognizing the little baby steps. Because there is progress.
You guys have a lot of progress.
When I sit down and just think about the progress when we're not mad at each other, there's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
But when we're upset at each other, the progress doesn't exist in our heads.
It's just that after moment. It's that post-mortem where you're thinking about it and you go, well, and not to the point where you're making excuses for somebody, but you're really seeing the effort. And effort to me means everything, because that shows that you care, that you're trying. And if you're in a healthy relationship, you want that person to be better because you guys make each other better. And I do see it a lot in both of you. Number one, you've changed a lot since you came here too. I think just to bring it back to what we were first talking about, you moving here was something very difficult and you were very closed off. And I think it's because number one, us as a group synergistically, we just worked so well. It was hard for you to blend in with us.
Yeah.
Your sense of humor, albeit was my sense of humor. So I think that's why we got along very well. And, I'm not very sensitive like that. So it kind of made sense. But for you, it kind of you were just forced into a situation that was very harsh.
Yeah, I definitely didn't fit in right away.
Yeah.
And I think I wasn't used to large groups of people too.
Yeah.
So it was always me and like 1 or 2 other girls, and like that was my circle. And I was kind of maybe the alpha in the circle. So then coming now into a group full of alphas who are already super close and there's a bunch of you, it just threw me way off. And I was just super uncomfortable like for a long time.
Yeah, because she was used to getting shit her way.
At least for almost like 2 of the 4 years that I was here, it was difficult to feel like I fit in for sure.
Yeah, and we've all. I mean, people don't ever get to see the behind the scenes stuff either, and even for you, because I know that when you came here, you had an idea of what we were because you saw us on videos. And I think that image of what we were on those videos kind of already left you at a disadvantage coming into this group.
And in the videos she watched were like a year old.
Yeah.
So that's us having barbecues and all that. She came in the middle of us being busy as shit.
Yeah. And that's right. You came at a very weird time.
I like had seen JK, I'd watched JK a little bit here and there, and like so I was like, oh, they're like just shooting the shit, like they're having fun, they're like chill. And but then like when I get here, it's just like no one's hanging out. Everyone has separate vlog channels. Everyone's doing everything separately, and it's just like this year of the hustle, and like it wasn't what y'all like I was seeing being portrayed.
Yeah, because the year before that was so fucking fun, because we did so much like barbecues and we hung out, and then I think that bonding was set, and then after was like, cool, we have the relationship, now let's get into work mode.
Yeah,
because it's like that was already established. Like
the mentality was so different. And I think like after a while too, I started, we all realized it. For me, I snapped, but I started the one thing that helped me realize that we were just doing this type of behavior was obviously when you mentioned it. And also when I started to realize I had no more stories because I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I was sitting here.
Yeah.
And then, it became very apparent on JK News.
We weren't living.
Yeah.
We were just cranking out content and just
and that's what
being
drives me
lost
crazy, because I was just like, I was kind of sold this idea, right? He's just like, yeah, we'll come and like whatever. And then like I'm seeing the video. So I'm like in my head, I'm like, I'm expecting it to be one way. And then I get here and it's completely different. And there wasn't a lot of, I guess, chances other than during dinner for me to get close to anyone. So it just felt like it took forever to like get through the hump.
I always tell people though, you come to fucking mama so, dude. Like I think for me, like I understood the whole hustle mentality, but because our hustle was also our fun, so we never had to separate the two.
No,
we
that's
never
why I enjoyed it 24/7.
When
you
we
know?
were working, it would never felt like work ever. So it always just felt like we were hanging out. So we never had to put that effort in.
But we built so much. This is where I fucked up. We built so much rapport and memories together that
it held us
all
together.
of us. We didn't need that. But then I didn't do a good job setting her up with everybody in the group. I thought she would just hit the gun running because she's so smart. She's so resourceful. She's like, she could figure things out so fast.
Yeah.
I didn't know how socially different she was. Like I didn't even know she was like a social recluse.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because when I was in Austin, we would go and meet my friends out there, hang out, go have dinner, whatever. She's fine. She's talking to everybody, whatever. I didn't know that there were going to be this
Well, it's like
huge
it's different
separation.
situations though. It's like smaller groups. It's like a double date or something of because like one guy and his girlfriend in Austin.
Yeah, and I was blind to that because I'm so social. I don't see the difference whether it's one person
For
or
sure.
3,000. You know, like it's.
I mean, you're very different in Bart in that sense. You're a social butterfly. Like you could mold.
I could maneuver like it's whatever.
Yeah, and plus like regular people in Austin are different from like LA YouTubers. I mean, it's a different, totally different. Like the more willing the willingness to like allow new people to come in is a lot different because like regular people will meet regular people, but then like YouTubers are kind of like, oh, they're a little bit more like, I don't know, standoffish with newcomers, I feel like. And this group definitely did that to me too.
Not me.
You did maybe a little bit, but you chilled out the fastest towards me.
Here's my thing was like, I didn't know anything about you, right? And so
I think it's a two-way street.
I always felt, for me, like, so how I am as a person, and I'm pretty sure people know about this, when I make a connection with somebody, I keep somebody for fucking life. You have to do something pretty bad to me for me to say fuck off to you, right? So even with Tiff, when Tiff first came to this group, I didn't know who the fuck she was multiple times because I didn't know how long she was going to last. And I didn't want to commit myself to somebody only to have them leave.
Yeah.
So when you first came around, I was just going to let the group feel you out first. And then I would just kind of like, okay, she's going to stick around. So let me invest some time into her. Because at that point, I didn't know if you were going to stick around. And
yeah, me neither.
Yeah. And Tiff was hard too because
it was kind of a catch-22 though, because it's like everyone's kind of like, well, is she even going to be here? Is it worth our time? But then it like makes it harder.
Yeah.
And then for me too, because I had the same feeling towards other people. I'm like, well, should I even bother getting close to David and Bart and Gio and Tiff and all these people if I'm just going to leave anyways, you know? So it was like,
yeah,
it was stupid.
Once you guys moved in together and you were living, when I kind of figured, they're living together and shit, you know, I didn't know that off the bat either.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, you know, and it's also weird too, I think, because like, I feel like if I was a girl, it'd be a lot easier, right?
No.
Really? You don't think so?
No, she makes friends with guys like that really fast.
I like women. It's just a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot longer.
Yeah, to be like hella close. She got, I think, closer with you and Steve way quicker than any of the girls.
Yeah.
But that's true with a lot of the girls. You know, like
our girls are very unique. Though.
Yeah.
They're not very girly in that traditional sense of where like girls fucking rule. A lot of the girls in this group are very partner connected. So they hang out with their partner, and then if the partner hangs out with somebody else, then they'll do it together, right? So that's something that I'm not really used to. I think that's the difference between me and I think a majority of the JK people was that Mariel has her own set of friends, and I have my own set of friends.
Yeah, y'all's relationship is totally different.
Yeah.
Compared to all of us.
Yeah, and so I think that that's the part that was a little not odd for me, just because when we had to make sure that we were having friend time, it was a little more difficult because my doors are always open. Like I always tell people, like, you want to hang out, come and hang out. Like with Khalif or whatever, he texts me, I'm like, come on over, let's do something. I just let Mariel know. I go, hey, Khalif wants to hang out today. I'm gonna bounce. Is that cool? She goes, I don't even have to ask her. I just tell her it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but. You know, I think because everything, once again, we were so tied to our old memories. We don't need to do that. No. It's like, I could not see him for 3 years. I'll pick it up right where it left off.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened. But for you were a new person. You didn't have that rapport. So it was a lot more difficult. And, you know, it was true. We used to have barbecues all the fucking time.
All the time.
We played basketball together. And mind you, we all sucked, but we played like three, 4 times a week. We had these like great moments where we connected and bonded on a level that most people don't do in such a short amount of time. And I think you didn't get to experience that.
Yeah, I didn't. And then we would be fighting over stuff that, because we were shocked that our expectations weren't meeting reality. So we were fighting behind the scenes, and then I come eat dinner with all y'all, and then I'm already like, well, fuck this whole fucking situation. You know what I mean? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool, I guess. You know, like that's how I showed up to dinners. And then, so it just made everything worse.
Everyone's like, what the hell's wrong with Jess?
Yeah.
And I'm
Maybe
like,
I was like, she seemed fine to me. Like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it's so weird. Like, why don't you like my friends?
That's weird, because I liked everyone. I saw everyone on YouTube before I met them, and I was like, all these people seem cool. Like Gio seemed cool or whatever, but then met her in person. I was like, God, this bitch. God, what a fucking bitch, dude.
Yeah. That's so
We're close
funny.
now, so I can say that out loud in public, but
Yeah. That's so interesting because people don't know like this perspective behind just what they see on the screen. Like even for you, you fell victim to that. You know, I think hopefully I'm almost the exact same person I'm on screen. Maybe just a lot more.
I think you're better in real life than you are on screen. Honestly, I like hanging out with you, but then at some of these other people in the group at the beginning, I was like, God, I wish I'd just never met them because I liked them on video and that was it.
It's weird because I don't know. Maybe it's because like I said, like I've always been the type of person in the group, and even Mariel knows this about me. She always mentions it. She goes, people warm up to you fast. You know, it's either people hate me or they really, it depends on if I like them, you know? So she goes, when you like somebody, she goes, they could sense how much you like them.
Yeah.
You know? And she goes, but if you dislike them, the whole universe feels it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, boom, like you completely just shut them out. Like they don't exist. Like she's even seen me like some people, what's up? I just like walk past them because I don't want to say anything mean.
Yeah.
You know?
You're very strong, like, emotionally. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, I think it's because, you know, when you get burned when you're younger, I just don't like to waste time with people anymore. It's if I like you, I'm not afraid to express how much I like you. If I respect you, I'm not afraid to express how much I respect you. And I'll just leave it at that. Why even hide it at this point? But once again, the other side of it is if I fucking dislike you, you will fucking feel it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to call you an asshole, but you could tell when I'm smiling at everybody, you say something to me, I don't laugh once.
Gio's like that too. That's why you guys get along.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Gio and I actually have this thing where it's funny because we dislike the same people, and then I'll just look at her. She goes, "Yup," and I'm like, "Yup, I already know what you're saying. I fucking hate that person."
Yeah,
you know?
Y'all are like smizing to each other across the room while I'm sitting there as a new girlfriend to Joe too, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck all these assholes." I see them smizing to each other.
What about you? You're fine.
Now I am.
I think like I never felt any bad way towards you though. Like I didn't think that there was anything, because once again, I never spent as much time with you because I'm JK honorary member. I still have my own thing.
Yeah.
And then I would come into the mix after. And then, you know, I would hear you speak about what you're going through, and then the group would talk about how things just aren't meshing well. And then I start picking up pieces a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I can see like how our attitude can be bad. And then I talk to you and I go, oh, I can see how you think they're being this way too. So it all kind of made sense. And it's just, like I said, you were thrown into something that was very hard for you to meld into.
Yeah, it was not a good idea, but I did it, and I think it made me stronger. And now I feel like I could be thrown into a lot more situations with a better idea of how to handle myself. So it was worth it, I guess.
Yeah. You needed it.
Yeah.
Just the way I needed you to make me angry.
He actually, I think out of all the JK people, changed the most in the past like just 7 or 8 years. Like the first time I've seen him till now, he's actually like a 180. Like number one, emotionally and empathy are the two things that I think that you've changed the most. Empathy is something that you've gained. Maybe not to like the normal standard, but like you do have it. You do have a lot of empathy, and you also understand how to assess a situation from a less emotional state. Because I think like when you were first, you were such an excitable human being that everything was just sparks. And
Man, I was telling I forgot who I was telling the other day, but I used to live life without thinking. Everything was just feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember a lot of things that I did because I'm just living in the moment.
Yeah.
And I thought a lot, but about things that didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was not internal. It was about politics, fucking philosophy, whatever. I'm reading shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going down the rabbit hole of information, but
Yeah.
I'm just a constant impulse.
Yeah.
So I was ruled by my feelings, man. I just did whatever the fuck I wanted.
yeah.
And I don't know. I think there's good in that where I got to where I am today because I'm not thinking and I'm not living by my fear or anything. I just do it. But also, if I don't self-reflect, I don't grow.
Yeah.
I don't. And if I'm not aware of the situation, it's like I'm just living in a fucking dream, right? But I'm not taking into considerations of what's going on, the dynamic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, oh shit. I had to figure that out because especially with her, I'm like, oh, my reality is not her reality.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel like you've changed a lot, since you moved here?
I think I'm maybe more conscious of how I'm coming across. Like, even though I still have like kind of bitch face a lot and I complain a lot, I'm 100% more aware of like how I'm projecting myself and my energy into a room. That was a big thing because I used to be the same way. Like, I wasn't really thinking about like how my energy was spilling out into the world around me. And now obviously there's cameras on me and there's people telling me things about myself and there's comments. So like I'm a little bit more aware of that. But emotionally, I don't know if I've changed that much emotionally. I think I'm about the same.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like for me, I guess from like an outside perspective, I think like maybe you don't see it, but I see it as more like, I think you're more honest with yourself. Because having that ability to say like, okay, people do see me a certain way, even though that I don't feel it, is you learning how to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe I don't really know myself as well as I thought I did.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. I think that's some shit that I struggle with all the fucking time. Like I said, I didn't know I was fucking fat. Like I know people think it's a joke. I didn't fucking know. Yeah.
That's true, because I would see myself in the mirror and I'm like, I still got these pecs, right? And then she's like, but what about that belly though? It's gonna.
He's just looking from here up, and I'm like, but this is the problem.
You know what? Guys know how to compartmentalize really well.
Or just like, that nipple looks nice and circular. That's the thing.
We know how to see the beauty in fucking garbage. That's what it is.
I know how to see the garbage in beauty. I look at myself all the time, and I'm like,
fucking truth,
God.
man. Yeah. I was listening to this shit like on the way here, and it was about controlling your outlook on life and negative emotions, right? And they're saying how Mother Teresa, she would like go down India, and she's like, she sees all these dead fucking bodies, right? She sees like people sick, people begging. She sees all this shit, right? And then she sees a piece of shit on the floor, and out of that fucking piece of shit, there's a flower growing out of it, right? And then that was her pivotal moment. When that moment was when she was like, oh, I'm able to like see the beauty in all of this disaster.
Yeah.
What other good is there in the world?
Oh, wow.
And then so I'm like, that's either so fucking optimistic to the point where you're delusional, bitch, or that's a skill. Like to be able to do that
when is a skill, dude.
Because when people are getting shot up and dying around you, and you're still like, there's something beautiful about this, or something good that still exists in the world. That's something that's like, I wish I had that power.
I don't have that power. I just more like give in to the shit. I'm like, yeah, my car exploded today. I just move on.
Yeah.
Like, my luck is so bad. Like even the other day, I got rear-ended, like going to the fucking SIP meeting, and I was just like, all right, I just kind of moved on from it.
Let it go
because there was like a scratch and a dent, and I was like, it's a Honda Element, and the guy looked at me. He just goes, I'll pay for it. I was like, for what?
Yeah.
I was like,
why even bother?
Why bother, dude?
Why did they fight it?
Yeah, just go away. I just moved on. That's
kind of reminding me of this thing. So this book I'm reading, it's called Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson. And he talks about this concept of amor fati. It's like a Friedrich Nietzsche thing that he came up with. It's like the love of one's fate. So like you're just kind of like going through life just like
acceptance.
Yeah, I haven't fully grasped the concept of it, but it's a really interesting thing. Like, and I think a lot of people should kind of look it up and read into it. But it's just like the love of your fate is like if it's good or if it's bad or whatever, it's like you're accepting all of it because all of it is life. So it's like you can't run from getting hit in the car. Like, you can't run from these things.
Family death. You can't run from hurt. You can't run from a lot of pain, right? And in that same shit that I was listening to, they were saying like, okay, so these things is just a part of life, but the more you try to fight it and deny it, the bigger it becomes.
I mean,
you got to just
that's so
experience it.
That's just so fucking
You just
good.
got to go
Yeah.
through with it, but then not have a judgment on it. When you start judging it is when it starts becoming this thing where you obsess about it in your head.
I fucking like that. I guess I feel like I invoke something like that too, just not in as like succinct as that, but that's, we talk about it all the time. We go, that's fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just life. Why are you fucking so, I don't know. Yeah.
We talk about people who wallow in their own sadness because something bad happens. And
Don't prolong it. Yeah.
that's
that's
life.
been me for most of my life. I've been a very nihilistic person, and that's why I have that kind of dark energy. And that's, I guess, if we're gonna say how I've changed the most and how you're saying being honest with yourself, that's how I'm being more honest with myself and like recognizing that I carry a dark cloud, and I'm just like, oh, everything sucks, and I'm like, I'm like in a black and white vintage film with a cigarette, like, oh,
As you said it, I literally just pictured it right now with a little veil over your head, with the fucking cigarette, the long cigarette. That's what
some sad ass music.
How the fuck did you get with someone so damn happy? You should have got with a goth guy or some shit.
I know, I should have.
Should have got with a pale ass rocker.
We would have gotten along a lot better, probably.
I know, you two could have sat in the corner, talk shit all day.
Yeah.
I literally just picture you with that long cigarette and this fucking dude just walking. So what are you doing there, pretty lady? Yeah. Like, the world's spinning.
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck? Yeah, I mean, do you feel like, why do you think you were like that though? I mean, that's such a...
know.
I know why she's like that.
I mean, I guess just the abandonment that I faced as a child just made me like sad and feel like there's, life sucks and all that. And I just never grew out of it. So I think I haven't reached level of maturity to grow out of that like adolescent
But
anger.
you've accomplished... So, let's move off.
She
besides
doesn't...
JK, like, she's a fucking master.
She doesn't ever... she's never proud of herself. And she's never... If you notice, she never boasts about the shit that she's done.
Yeah.
When she should, because you should be proud that you're
uprooted your whole life.
Yeah, you're the first. Well, you're the only one out of your family that's basically going to college. Her parents didn't go to college, and she got a master's degree, right? She had a high position in an accounting firm. And then you brought yourself out of poverty. No one put her through school. She put herself through school, like
with loans. The government brought me through out of poverty with loans.
She's not like this privileged ass white girl that's like everything's fucking done for her.
I guess because to me, none of that stands out because everyone but that's the median level of accomplishment. So I don't think that's
you're not Mike Tyson, but you know what? Like, it is a struggle that you did and you won. Mm-hmm. And no matter how insignificant that might sound, it's still big to a lot of people. So you got to remember, like, put yourself in your shoes when you were in poverty and you were fucking living on food stamps and shit, and someone told you you're gonna get a master's degree. Would you be like, yeah, right? Or when you're fucking doing drugs and then you're like being a bunch, with a bunch of assholes and shit.
Yeah, because I don't think that's common. It's not, because I grew up with a lot of poor people. I even think about, I thought about this the other day while I was in my car just randomly. Like, I thought about my best friend right now. He's a fucking doctor. Like, I don't know why it just hit me in my head. And I was like, my best friend's a fucking doctor. That's so weird.
And even though there's a lot of doctors in the world, it's still something that's like, wow, you worked fucking hard for that shit. That's something that, yes, everyone can do it if they put their mind to, but it's still hard.
Yeah.
And you gotta own it.
Like, we're both poor ass fucking kids, and he's a doctor. Like, I'm a partial owner of 4 fucking businesses now. Like, I've had my, he's a doctor. Like, I couldn't get that out of my head, and I don't know if it hits him like that, but he's very grateful of the position that he's in. But anybody could say, like you said, there's a lot of doctors in this world. Very true. But when I look at his situation, what he had to go through to get there, it's nobody would have thought. Nobody would think.
She's too Asian, dude. That's why I got with her. Fuck, it's not good enough. It's like she gotta. It's not a brain surgeon.
You're so used to that.
Yeah, you just like sitting there, just beating yourself up. It's like anybody could have got a master's, not me. That's for sure. I barely read. Shit.
It's not so much like boasting about it. Like, I'm proud. This is how much I've done, because it's literally you ain't shit. Because a lot of people have masters, right? But the point is, I got this far. Imagine how much further I can get.
Yeah, it's just something.
I got this far despite, all the obstacles that I had. I put myself through this, while I was working. I didn't have any help from anyone, like,
That's a part of, I think that's like a big joy of life though, to accomplish something and then really just appreciate yourself for it. Like even something small, like me making that burger, I'm so happy. Like
That burger was amazing.
And then you're sharing your happiness, like
With
you're
other
sharing
people.
your creation, your creativity.
Yeah,
You know?
like even like that small thing, like when I made that burger and then I ate it, and before I gave it to anybody else, I just thought to myself, like, this is a fucking good burger, dude. Like I was
Yeah.
shocked, you know? And the first thing that I want to do, like I want to share it.
Yeah.
I gave it to Mariel first, you know?
Yeah.
I ate it and then I gave it to, who else did I make it for? I made it for somebody
Tiff.
else too. I
Tiff
made it for
tried
Tiff. I gave it to you guys and I'm like, cool, now I can
And
share
now
this
everyone's
joy.
addicted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. That's gonna be the go-to barbecue burger now, dude. Now I know how I want to make it, and it's so simple. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, and I this is what I think why she does this is because if you talk shit to yourself, no one can fuck you up.
Yeah,
If you talk shit to yourself, no one can hurt you. Not only that, if you already expect the worst and it happens, it doesn't surprise you. So it's very
I
common.
can't ever fall from grace because I'm already like 6 feet under.
You can't
Damn,
drop
girl.
me if I'm already sad,
Well,
bitch.
I can't fall from grace because I'm already 6 feet under.
That long wooden cigarette thing.
Tap, tap.
I know. Tap, 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 the ashes fall. What's wrong with your doll face? Well, I can't fall
It's a
from grace.
murder
I'm already
mystery
6 feet
actor.
under.
Life is nothing but death.
I know. Where are you going, Gumshoe?
Stupid.
You're such a funny girl. Oh, man, I feel like we could talk forever, but time is up on the podcast.
Oh shit!
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that shit. I could
Wow.
keep going
I didn't
for-
even know there was a timer up there.
Yeah.
Good
well,
job.
That I mean, it doesn't really conclude this episode because we can keep going, but
I feel like we just got started too.
I know.
Damn, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I'm so not used to talking like podcast style, so I got to come back and I'm gonna get better next time.
no, you're doing great. This is awesome.
Okay.
Well, guys, like I said, it doesn't really conclude the episode, but that's this episode of the Genius Brain podcast. Remember, catch us on Spotify. If you are on iTunes, give us that fucking 5-star, share it with everybody, interact in the comments below, and just share and take us on your commute because I feel like these conversations are just dope, man. You're just a fly on the wall. Listen to a bunch of people talk their shit.
Get
you
to know my personal life.
Yeah, man. But appreciate you guys, man. We have been getting sponsorships, and the more you guys share it, the more we can continue to do these. So,
The more burgers David can make.
I know for everybody. So, I mean, Jess, where can they find you?
I have my own channel. It's just my name, Jessica Caldwell. There's
you're
not.
lucky.
It's not super active, but there's a few things on there they can check out.
Instagram as well. What's your Instagram?
Jess.
Underscore
I already
Michelle.
forgot my Instagram.
Jess_Michelle 512.
512. There we go. Yeah.
There it is. So you guys can catch her on there. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Toodaloo, mother ass.